Hello students. Ganga Action Plan project is a project by Government of India, and today's lesson is based on a small case study on Ganga Action Plan project. In today's lesson, we will be learning about the objectives of Ganga Action Plan, why Ganga Action Plan was developed, and through the case study, we will try to understand about the causes, effects, and preventive measures of water pollution. This video lesson is mainly in English medium because you all know that we study science in English and we need to develop our English listening and comprehension ability. Ganga Action Plan is managed by National Mission for Clean Ganga, which is a registered society under Act 1860. Under the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Government of India. In order to understand the Ganga Action Plan, we should know about the context of this plan. So I'm going to read out the context. You listen carefully and try to understand why Ganga Action Plan was developed. So about Ganga Action Plan 1. The Ganga rises in the Garhwal Himalaya from the Gangotri Glacier, some 4,100 meters above the sea level, under the name of Bhagirathi. The river flows through the Himalayas till another two streams, the Mandakini and the Alaknanda, join it at Devprayag. It is below this confluence that the river is known as the Ganga proper. The Ganga basin, which is the largest river basin of the country, houses about 40% population of India. The river, after traversing a distance of 2,525 kilometers from its source, meets the Bay of Bengal at Ganga Sagar in West Bengal. During the course of its journey from the hills to the sea, municipal sewage from large urban centers, trade effluents from industries, and polluting waste from several other non-point sources are discharged into the river, resulting in its pollution. The main objectives of Ganga Action Plan 1 are: at the time of launching, the main objective of Ganga Action Plan was to improve the water quality of Ganga to acceptable standards by preventing the pollution load reaching the river. However, as decided in a meeting of the Monitoring Committee in June 1987, under the chairmanship of Professor M.G.K. Menon, then member Planning Commission, the objective of GAP, that is Ganga Action Plan, was recast as restoring the river water quality to the bathing class standard, which is that the Ganga river water should have a maximum of biological chemical oxygen demand of 3 milligram per liter, dissolved oxygen 5 milligram per liter minimum. The total coliform presence should be 10,000 per 100 ml and fecal coliform 25,000 per 100 ml. Now, what is this coliform? This is a kind of bacteria. What is dissolved oxygen? Oxygen present in dissolved form in water. And what is biochemical oxygen demand? The oxygen demand by the chemical activities taking place in water. In Ganga Action Plan Phase 1, it was launched in the year 1985, and the scheduled completion date was 31st March 2000, means it was a 15-year-long project, and this project was closed in the year 2000. Around 256 crores rupees were originally sanctioned for Ganga Action Plan Phase 1, and then the sanction cost was revised and it was increased to 462 crores. Under Ganga Action Plan Phase 1, 6 towns in UP, 4 towns in Bihar, and 15 towns in West Bengal were covered. Means these are the towns through which River Ganga flows. And Ganga River near to these towns were supposed to be cleaned under Ganga Action Plan Phase 1. And which are these towns? In Uttar Pradesh, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Faridabad, Fatehgarh, Allahabad, Kanpur, Varanasi and Mirzapur were selected for the implementation of Ganga Action Plan Phase 1. In Bihar, Chhapra, Bhagalpur, Munger and Patna. And in West Bengal, Berhampur, Nabadvip, Hooghly, Chinsura, Chandannagar, Serampur, Bali, Kalyani, Bhatpara, Titagarh, Panihati, Howrah, Calcutta Corporation Area, Baranagar, Kamarhati and Naihati towns were selected where Ganga was supposed to be cleaned. Okay, now let us go back to our previous slides. If we look at the paragraph on about Ganga Action Plan, we see that the Ganga Action Plan Phase 1 is a very ambitious project, a very big project. Why? Because the project is covering some 2,525 kilometers stretch of Ganga and its cleanliness at different points, at different towns through which the river passes. This Ganga Action Plan is mainly concerned with dealing with the sewage that comes from the domestic areas which are collected by the municipalities. So that is municipal sewage from large urban centers. Then big industries are also sending their effluents, means the waste, to the Ganga River. Then many drains are opened into the Ganga River water from the towns and big cities. So Ganga Action Plan, which covers the towns now in Uttarakhand, from Uttarakhand to West Bengal, but a common source of pollution that we find in all these states and towns is the municipal sewage and the trade effluents from industries and polluting waste. So we find that the stretch 2,525 kilometers that Ganga River covers is actually carrying a huge load of waste material in her, and therefore it was decided in 1985 that our holy river Ganga needed to be cleaned. If we look at the table shown here, we find that if the oxygen demand in Ganga River increases, means there is an increase in the number of phytoplanktons, the plants. If the oxygen level decreases, it means the river is getting polluted. So dissolved oxygen, then the presence of bacteria, coliform bacteria, If there is less dissolved oxygen and more number of coliform bacteria, then also we say that Ganga river is polluted. So the basic focus under Ganga Action Plan was to clean the river Ganga in such a way so that the biochemical oxygen demand, which in short we say BOD, remains at a maximum of 3 milligram per liter, and dissolved oxygen should remain minimum 5 milligram per liter, and the number of coliform bacteria should not be more than 10,000 per 100 ml. And then fecal coliform is the coliform bacteria that is released through the human fecal matter. So that should also not be more than 25,000 per 100 ml. That means the human fecal matter is also a source of pollution. What kind of pollution does it create? It is actually releasing microorganisms to the water. So these are some of the objectives of Ganga Action Plan. If we look at the monetary aspect, the amount spent in Ganga Action Plan Phase 1 is around 462 crores by the year 2000. And even after spending this much of money, when people visit Ganga, they find such kind of image where the factories are still releasing their effluents into the river. In our previous video lessons, you came to know about Namami Gange project, which has been launched recently. What does it show? It shows that even if money was spent in creating sewage treatment water plants, in creating awareness and cleaning river Ganga under Ganga Action Plan, but still Ganga remained unclean, Ganga remained polluted, and that led us to have another project called Namami Gange. So there is a small competency-based question for you, which is a case-based question because we took up Ganga Action Plan as a case. What you have to do is you have to look at this image carefully and search for similar images in internet. And then what you need to do, observe the image given here, analyze its contribution to water pollution, and write a report in 200 words on how the action shown in this image has led to pollution of river Ganga. Then there is another question for you. It is a comparative question where you have to write what are the differences between Ganga Action Plan and Namami Gange project. Thank you and have a nice day.